Hi everyone, this is Judith, Twin Flame Essentials with another video, and we're talking about your twin flame journey. Yeah, today this card wanted to come out, grief. It came out actually in the Twin Flame weekend reading. If you haven't watched that, you can do that. Yeah, and it came out for the Divine Masculine energy. And already when I finished the video, I was thinking, well, there are some things about this grief that I didn't mention. And I didn't talk a lot about what's going on with the Divine Masculine in relation to you, right? Is he maybe grieving the perception of the loss of the twin flame relationship, right? This might also be an important point that, and of course today I'm not talking only about the Divine Masculine, but it's Divine Masculine and Divine Feminine. So for both of you, you're grieving on some level the fact that you are not together, right? So, but what we have to be aware of is that this grief is also an old grief, right? But let's talk first a little bit about you and your twin flame, right? On the level of your journey. I've pulled this card in order to clarify a little bit. And here it says, who is your hero? Have you had a meeting or experience that has given you the "it's a small world" feeling? And which personal quality do you think you lack? Yeah, so one of you or both of you might have put the other one on a pedestal, right? And of course, who is your hero? Well, your twin flame is your hero, right? And this "it's a small world" feeling, this is definitely your encounter, right? So there maybe there is part of you like reminiscing on the journey and thinking back when you two first met, because the soul is really working towards this encounter, right, with the twin flame, and then the activation, so that this has been a whole journey already before you met that your soul was taking. Your soul was like basically orchestrating all of those things, where your workplace, where you were going for your studies, or where your parents moved, and all of those things were already leading you to your twin flame, right? Now there's grief there because things didn't work out. There's grief there because the hero is really far away, right? And when you say hero, it comes to mind that one of you or both of you want to be rescued, and then you might grieve the fact that no one is coming to rescue you, right? You have to rescue yourself, in fact. But yeah, there's this grief, right? And literally it could mean that you have mourned something along your life path. Maybe you have lost family members, friends. This is for you, and of course also your divine counterpart. Maybe you have really actually mourned the loss of something, and doesn't need to be an actual death, but could be, right? Death of a family member, maybe when you were young, when you were a child, but also later in life, right? So in this grief that you or your divine counterpart are feeling right now, which is coming up for you, apparently, this is hinting at some other grief in your life. And you always have to ask yourself, well, when did I first experience this kind of grief, right? It could, of course, also be past life, but what I found, like the first thing to explore, and which is much more important in terms of releasing the energy, because for past lives it's usually quite easy to release the energies, but for the trauma that we have experienced this lifetime, it's sometimes Not so easy because we don't know sometimes about things that happened when we were 1 month old, 2 years old, 3 years old, right? We don't remember. And actually, with the traumatic events, even later in life, even if something happened when you have been 24, we tend to forget those things. We tend to really stuff them somewhere. And even if we tell ourselves a story about something, maybe something happened during a vacation, so we're still aware that this vacation was taking place, but we would like be completely unaware of this particular event that caused trauma, or that was causing karma or whatever, right? So the grief is keeping you apart. And you and your counterpart, you have to find out what is the origin of that grief. Otherwise, you keep reenacting circumstances where you feel this grief, right? The feeling stays the same. That's how it is always. So the feeling stays the same, and the scenery around it is always changes throughout your lifetime, right? But you will make sure, your subconscious will make sure that you feel the grief time and again, because this needs to be cleared, right? So your soul wants to show you, look here, you're grieving. This doesn't feel good. Please have a closer look. What is that? And you might very well be feeling your divine counterparts' feelings, right? For example, when it comes to all kinds of uncomfortable feelings, the divine masculine usually pushes this away. It doesn't want to feel it. And so very often it comes out as something that the divine feminine is experiencing. For example, I'm sure that a lot of you have cried the tears that belong to your divine masculine, actually. This happened to me in my life. So watch out for this, right? You can then train yourself a little bit also to have more discernment, whether those are your feelings or the feelings of your divine counterpart, right? But that definitely here there is this grief, and it is also grief in relation to not being able to push through to this twin flame union, right? Wherever you are, wherever your divine counterpart is, the soul wants you to experience this togetherness, right? Because that's your truth. That's who you really are. And in fact, if you would die, for example, then you would be immediately together with your twin flame, right? There's no question about that. He or she would be with you, and yeah, so there's a lot of grief around that. But actually, when you have resolved the underlying energy of grief, then this would change, right? You would not be in this grief. You would be in great joy about the connection, and you would see, you would perceive it completely different, in a different way. And that's a sign then that those energies have been released, right? It's really it's like a miracle. When the energies are gone, then you're in a different place. It just feels different. Your life feels different. And as long as you keep experiencing the same nasty feelings, there is still work to do, right? And your twin flame is not to blame for that. It's not his or her fault, right? It's your thing, your work, your task. It's on your plate, right? Yeah, when you first met, right, and you've been activated, um, this all brought about this was a big awakening, right? And for both of you, this made clear that there is much more to this life than we were taught or than we thought, right? And it's also in part like grieving an old world, basically, because everything that was true is not true anymore. We are like in a completely different universe when we meet our twin flame and we are awakening to the deeper truth of who we really are at a soul level, and of how this all works, right? And we are for sure also grieving the men that we didn't know earlier. Those missed opportunities, right? Depends on how old you are, but maybe when you're in your 20s, that's not something that would come up. But when you're a bit older, then for sure there are many things, right? Maybe things that didn't work out for you in your life, for both of you, right? And that's also the reason why the divine masculine is sometimes holding on to his old world, right? To this old world. He doesn't want to let go of the old, because yeah, then he would feel like, what have I accomplished here? What's the point? I mean, what have I created? What have I achieved? So he's holding on to this old way of being, to this old world, right? Even if he has had this experience with you, this magical experience, the it's a small world feeling, right? Yeah. And he basically, both of you think that you don't have the qualities to be in union, that you're lacking those qualities. So this might be something that you're grieving as well. And just to tell you, when you're doing your work and when you're really diving into the healing work, the transformational work, then you don't have to you're not lacking anything, in fact, but just you have to align with your truth, right? And then things are moving and you are moving, right? And you are like doing your work. It's not about forcing yourself, as I always say, to do something, but it's really about aligning and then experiencing how things are shifting and what you suddenly love to do, and you're just discovering the many qualities that you have, right? The personal qualities. And you, on your journey, you start to discover all of that. So there is nothing missing here. There is no lack. You have already everything you need to be in union. You just have to learn how to allow, and you just have to also allow certain things to fall away, right? And all the shifts that happen, you have to allow them. You have to allow those things. And yeah, because it doesn't mean that you're not doing anything, but what you do, as I said, is like in alignment with who you truly are. And this is why it feels so effortless, right? Yeah, good. I hope that this was helpful. As always, if you want to work with me, if you want to book a session, please send me an email and you receive my offers. The email address is in the description box below. And I appreciate you being here with me on the channel. Please subscribe, please give me a thumbs up. And I also appreciate if you comment. Take care, everyone. Lots of love, and I see you in the next video. Bye for now.